Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. I'm Magdalena and today I'm here to talk about what is in my handmade wardrobe and how many times I wore it in 2025. It doesn't matter when you start and end your year, when you're gathering data, what you wear in a year, but since it is my second year doing this, I gather data from the last year and then I didn't have time to film the video, so here we are in April. But statistics didn't change over last few months. Maybe a few items appeared in my wardrobe which will not be talked about today, like this top shirt. This is my mock shirt too. Before using the good fabric, I am more afraid to cut in. But yeah, so let's talk what is in my wardrobe and how many times I wear it. So this is my wardrobe. It holds everything. It's not only handmade. It just my wardrobe, and basically all my clothes I own are here or in the washing machine, in the laundry situation. I also don't hold here any jackets, coats, and scarves and accessories. I brought a few of them which are handmade, but yeah, basically it's my everyday closet and I don't have any more closets. So on the bottom shelf, you don't see it, but I have two white boxes. So the bottom one is for socks, underwear, bras, swimwear, all that kind of stuff. Then this is mostly my t-shirts folded nicely or with the straps tops. Then I have my pants. So we have more like outdoor pants, sweatpants. Behind them are leggings and short summer pants. Then here we have mostly all my knits, which we'll be talking about today. And behind them are other long sleeve tops, which probably didn't fit to hang and didn't fit to be folded. Then here I have mostly my fabrics. Some fabric leftovers are above, and here is my like leftover shelf, but in this corner I add something for gifts, like I bought recently this sweater and a book to gift away for friends and family, kids. I am Lithuanian living in Denmark, so I usually put everything in one spot. So when I'm packing my backpack to travel home, I can see what I want to pick it up. And this is this year's sweater, so we will not talk about it today. Then above I have some bags. I'm mentioning because I'm usually curious and seeing. It's nice to hear what is in the wear. On the bottom shelf I have clothes I put on which I don't want to have them in my wardrobe, but they are like too good to throw away. But I am thinking to whom to give them away, or should I just try to post it and sell it, but then are they that good to be sold out and all that fast? So I think I have 3 items in there. And this is my hanging wardrobe with mostly dresses, skirts, and then I think shirts, jackets, one hoodie I got from work because I don't wear hoodies usually. So yeah, this is basically my wardrobe. And all the statistics, since I don't like to lie, are in my tablet and I will be referencing and seeing it. I don't use my tablet sometimes in months, so it's nice to have an opportunity to look at it and use it, because basically I almost never use it. So yeah, you don't need to buy a tablet for one thing or another. But since I have it, let's use it. So one of the oldest items and one of my first ever makes is my Zizi. I called it dress because I self-drafted it, because I'm sometimes that delusional that I can do it myself. I believe I picked up a Rosary Apparel Rosie free pattern she had for free sizes, and then she expanded the size range. She started to selling patterns because that requires a lot of work, but I downloaded the free version with free sizes, I think small, medium and large. and this is basically the top. How I don't know, it looks, it's just simple top, and then I deconstructed it to be, I think, princess themed V-neck dress, and just with one long panel. So it's basically nothing like original pattern, but I had to base on something, even if I just cutting pieces and etc. So this was a surprise that it actually worked. Of course, my friend taught me how to sew. First sew like mock items, then sew the regular ones. And if it is, the pattern you're sewing not the first time, maybe you can just only sew it a new item, or if it has lining, and lining materials usually are cheaper, or you can get it more and not that afraid to cut in. So you can use lining for the training. But yeah, this was my first dress ever, and I think it turned out quite nice. It's still fun to wear, even if I don't wear, but I think I wore it 10 times. Yes. Yeah, so last year, in 2025, I wore it 10 times. A year before, I wore it only 6 times. So it's fun to wear, and I believe this summer I will put it on too, even if just at home. It's just easy to throw on. It's fun. It has voluminous skirt. It has pockets, and I added snap buttons. They are black, but then when I'm wearing, they are not seen that much. I think from the packaging, I think I kissed it. Well, it has flowers, so maybe it's not that bad. Yeah, it's just a really small dot. So yeah, it's not the best. But yeah, I believe it will be fun to wear it at least a few more times, and this is the first dress. So of course it is slightly sentimental, and I would like to keep wearing it. Okay, this is, I think, coloring wise. Then the next and second item, this dress was made in 2022, and the only item I see on my list from 2022, which is still in use, but did I wear it? I don't think that I wear it. Linen pants, 0 times in 2 years. But once upon a time, on a heat wave, I wore it. I think I was just made it, so I was so proud of it. And it was the best fabric ever to wear it in heat wave. Was it because of the lining, but it stretched so much, so maybe it has way too much, in knitting terms, positive ease, so I have to like snap it in something. But if but at the same time, I can adjust the waist then, whenever I want. So I don't think that they are good. My zipper, look at this terrible zipper insertion. I didn't know how to hide it properly, and I didn't had better matching zipper, at least button and zipper. It's a statement. These pants are just only good for home wear, but since this linen fabric, it's so breezy, it was maybe 36 degrees, and it felt like wearing a shade on your legs. And I have, since my thighs are a bit thicker, I have a chub rub, so in the heat, I have to wear, under my dresses or skirts, I have to wear shorts, and these pants were like wearing a shade. They were so breezy, they're so good for the heat wave, and they're quite ugly. So now I bought, I think, another pair of linen pants for traveling and looking a bit better. I don't think that I had a chance to wear them yet, because we avoid really hot weather if we can. And in Norway it was really easy, but we don't travel in the warmest months to the warmest places. But if I ever need, these are still staying. Another thing was my idea of making these videos, just to see, maybe I should get rid of some items from my wardrobe. And I'm not getting rid of these pants, but I'm getting rid of the shorts. I think shorts, I made it the next year, and I wore it 3 times. But I think I was wearing them like, I should get rid of them. But then I wore it, and the shorts, so I put them next to my fabric stash. They have an issue that they really try to go towards. Oh, and the pattern was White Like Spans by Peppermint Magazine, I believe. And so these were also shorts. I just, cut the leg more. But the biggest issue with pants is maybe less noticeable, but with shorts it was really aggravated. Like it really goes into my butt. So it's not comfortable to wear, even if I really want it to be. So I just put this next to my fabric stash. So anytime I want to sew something, I could reuse that fabric. But I don't know if I will just reuse it for something because it's quite small amount. Maybe project bag, but yet again it's so crinkly. It gets, I don't know. My problem with linen clothing is that they are really wrinkling fast, because that's how linen works, but they really wrinkly. And but they're really good for hot weather. I just in love with linen. With these few items, I just got really in love with them. And I believe I have nothing from 2025 in my list. I think I have one real old item and the only one gifted item which I might give away, so maybe I will mention it now. I put it here. So these socks, they were gifted to me when we lived in Norway by my boyfriend's colleagues. I think grandma knitted these before I think I started knitting it again. So it was and they gifted us a matching pair, so it was quite nice. And I think he doesn't have his anymore. And I think it's ready to say goodbye. It has a hole, and I know myself, even if I will fix it, the hole, I think in the both legs, even if I fix the holes, I really hate, and I feel every slight bump, usually if in my shoes the smallest stone is it, I have to stop and get it out. So I believe they survived all our time in Norway, and I believe it's just time to say goodbye. It was really nice to wear them, but I guess it's time. And I think the last time, this was the only item handmade, but not by me, I was having in my wardrobe. So I still added it, and I think only this, in 2025, I was gathering the data. So I wore them 37 times, and I think all these times are when they already had holes in them, but they helped me. We lived in Norway for, I think, 5 years, so almost for 4 or 5 years. They were my main and only woolen sock pair I had. So this was nice to have. But I think it's time to end their reign and open space for other things. So moving forward with 2023, it is strangely arranged in my list because later on I just added the newest ones on the bottom. But it's, I think, maybe the first time I was gathering this list, I tried to do it by categories. But then the next item I want to talk about are my 2 dresses I made in 2023. Is this white rosy dress. Since I lived in Norway, in Trondheim, and it was almost basically quite cold, even summer, I think this was a really good also summer dress. I made it from the flannel, which is cotton with slightly, it's basically for pajamas. The fabric is just soft, a bit warmer, I think, cotton fabric. And I made a dress, so in the springtime when it is still cold, but I wanted to wear something a bit more summery, something a bit more like appropriate, just to give myself a bit more summer vibes without getting too cold. I made this dress. I think I didn't wear it that much because it's so white, so I needed to, and the black leggings usually to contrast it too much, and I didn't have that much, which was not that black at the time. Now with my wedding dress I bought a bit more, but yeah. Okay, so how many times I wore it? Why I put it down and I lock the screen, so I have to unlock it again, so I could see that I was wearing this rosy dress 9 times. And it is funny because I wore it last year 9 times and a year before 9 times. And I should start wearing, because I believe this year I didn't wear it yet. And so yeah, and the weather is getting better to wear this dress. So I think it will be, because in the autumn it becomes too awkward to wear it, even if the weather is good because of the fabric pattern. And of course it got a little bit wrinkly. It was not ironed after the moves, I believe. Did I wear it after the moves? I had to, if I had 9 wears. But yeah, I believe this is quite nice dress. So another dress, I made it in 2029. I think that zipper insertion also was really good, and this has side zipper, not as good. I used this, okay, this dress is I called it pink linen dress. In the last 2 years, I wore it only once, and last year I wore it 0 times, because this is basically linen dress and it has really wrinkly. Even if I iron it, put it in the suitcase, when I arrive in the place, it's already wrinkled. And this year I believed I wore it, maybe at least, well, maybe once on our honeymoon in Florida. And I took this time in the luggage. I also bought recently the steamer, so I was able to steam it, but it didn't work in America as well, so maybe their electricity is not as, maybe voltage level was not good, I don't know, it didn't heat up enough. But this is the main issue, because to wear it, it is really nice, it's really breezy, but I think it's unpolished and it is wrinkly, and I think this is my biggest issue with some handmade items, especially if you wear it not from your home, and if they wrinkle too much on the way, or if you cannot even keep it them, even, I don't know, but at the same time, some wrinkleage level on the linen fabrics, you have just to accept it. But especially the skirt, I don't like it now. But yeah, I just need to, most of the dresses needs to be ironed out before the wear. But this is really nice fabric, breezy fabric. This is why I'm not giving it away. All my dresses have pockets. Even, I think this pattern didn't have pockets, but I managed to add them. And I don't know, maybe it's not as good, but it is so comfortable to have pockets. I just need my pockets. But I bought this fabric and pattern when I was with my old work. I got a chance to go for 2 weeks in UK, I think High Wycombe, maybe a random place, but I found this fabric and this pattern there, so it's also a nice memory from that time. So yeah, I am keeping it. I'm not giving it away, even if it is not my most used dress. Another dress from that High Wycombe trip fabric. It was so funny. When I'm buying fabrics, I really drawn to more colorful, more beautiful fabrics. But to wear clothes, I never wear really bold clothes. I don't have that much patterns. And as you can see, mostly I introduce them by making my own clothes. I don't like it. And at that time, I understood that I don't like wearing bold patterns, even if I really enjoy shopping for them. So that was my middle ground. I found this beautifully embroidered fabric, so with these beautiful flowers. And it was so it is one color, but at the same time it has some more interest, so it was way more fun to work. I don't think that it's sewing through those embroiders was the easiest part, but it turned out nice. I again based it from Rosary Apparel rosy pattern, I think bust. I made, is it sweetheart neckline, I think, because I really enjoy sweetheart necklines, how they look like, and I just tried to make it. I think it turned out quite well. And I used, it also has these embroidered edges, so on the bottom, and I failed when I was trying to gather the skirt, because for the skirt, when you're folding it, you do pleats. Apparently you need 3 times the length, and I only cut 2 times. I didn't have, I think, because I think I bought all their fabric they had in stash, so it was maybe 2.5 meters when I would prefer 3 meters, so I didn't got all the length I wanted. So I had limited supplies, but still I had a bit more, so I could make a skirt a bit more voluminous. But I failed my calculations because I thought that I have to double twice, and apparently need 3 times. And I also, behind them, there are shorts. These shorts are surprisingly, even if I reuse the same pattern for the shorts, but I just added a elasticated waistband because the idea was to wear it behind this dress and be able to run, to jump, and not flash anyone and have no chub rubbing. And it also added pockets, which at first I thought, dude, I need it. But I again took this dress for our honeymoon, and it was so fun to have so many pockets, because everything fit in my pockets. Well, maybe I was overusing it, but I didn't use it last year, this dress, because I found a hole the last year I done this video, and I fixed it in 9 months, and it was already in autumn, and yeah, no chances to wear it. Apparently, I fixed it too late in the year, so it was not fixed on time, but this year already got somewhere, and in the future I believe it's still good. If not, I can wear them at home. I still adore them in the summertime. In our new home, we're moving in less than a month. It will be fun to wear it, and yeah, I will need to pack everything, but at least I would say I don't have the biggest closet, so this helps a little when moving, but every item weighs down and needs time to be packed and unpacked. Yes, so the next item I can talk maybe from 2023. Let's find more items. So let's move on to maybe knitted items from 2023, and I have a lot of them. I decided to go from the oldest items to the newest to see, how improvement goes, but at the same time, my list was not ordered when I thought that it was, so it's slightly more difficult to do, but I can see that from the tops, and it will be so fun to fold them again. So I think the first top I finished from 2023 is this one. This is Fay top, I think by Garner's Design. It was just a kit from internet yarn shop. I bought it. It was fun to knit. I had way more. It was bottom up, and I was afraid to run out of the yarn. This was first fingering weight knit I ever done, and I didn't know how much fabric, how much yarn I would need to finish it up, and etc. So I done it how it was suggested, with quite short sleeves, half length or whatever, and it would be even more practical if it would have long sleeve. Another thing, this yarn was 25% polyester, 75% wool, and I think that this is quite the cheapness. I can feel it. So it's not bad, but it's neither fully functional. But at the same time, I got a lot of wear out of this, because I am not afraid of using it. Yes, let's check factually. How many times did I wear it in last year? Fay top, 10 times, and before a year, 25. I do not enjoy. I think it looks, and I don't believe, I was trying to depill, but I don't know. It just doesn't depill nicely. It just always semi-pilly and doesn't look poshed. At the time I found this, I think, join in the ball, and I didn't manage to hide it correctly because it just surprised me, and I just continued knitting without repositioning it, at least to be behind in the right column, so it always shows and I cannot hide it. So this top, the mostly I wear it when I don't care what I need to wear it around the home, maybe like going to... Yeah, it became homey. I feel like the design and the top, the style, especially long sleeve, would be such a nice for the office. But because of the yarn, and I believe, I think this is the oldest item I am having since I started knitting, but I knitted 3 sweaters beforehand, and 2 of them were just blue and white stockinette stitch raglan sweaters. I gifted them to grandmother and mother, those sweaters, and the 3rd sweater I made it, or in between those 2, I made it to red cable sweater. I sewed it in panels, and then when I finished it, it was way too small. So I gave it to my aunt, a really petite aunt. And this is finally, I managed to knit my version for myself, a bigger one this year. But yeah, so I think this was maybe my 4th knitted item ever. The oldest I have, the only, I think, kit item. It was so funny. I got it and it was in Danish or Norwegian, and I just, can you send me an English version of this? And they say, sorry, we don't have it, because the version was only in Scandinavian. I just, oh, fine. But it was really easy to figure out knit and purls, because I saw from the picture 2 knits and then apparently 4 purls. Then you compare and etc. So I managed to understand it, and it wasn't that much to understand. I added some waist shaping, so it is nice but not too nice. So I wear it but not too much. So let's move on. I decided that after this I will be so much fun to folding everything, but I want to show you everything in full length. Another sweater I knitted in that year was my Icelandic sweater. I bought this yarn when we visited Iceland. I think when we visited Iceland, when I knitted it? I knitted it in 2003, so maybe 2022, when I just started. So yeah, maybe I just knitted my first sweater ever, and I bought this yarn. I have no idea how much yarn I needed. So apparently I bought only 1 ball of contrasting color and way too many balls. So I needed 1.5, or I think I ran out of the contrast colors, maybe around here. It is also bottom up. And this was my first time doing color work. So I failed on the bottom. I didn't stretch those floats, I think, enough. So it squishes a little bit on the bottom. But since I noticed it immediately while knitting, on the top, it's just perfect. I think color work sweater. And then I figured out, because I bought the yarn first, and then I found this pattern. I think this was Latlopi yarn, Afmeli 20 years anniversary sweater. The sweater was for free, so I just picked up. It was for the same yarn by Icelandic designer, Icelandic yarn. So it was, everything was about this. The sweater was my memories from Iceland. Just I didn't start knitting it in Iceland. But yeah, so yeah, this was really nice to learn color work. So now I think, yeah, I started knitting maybe body first, so bodies is the worst. Then on the sleeves, I think it's not noticeable as much. And then on the top, it's not noticeable at all. I manage well my floats to stretch them. So it was learning how to knit. It's still so cozy, and I think this is probably one of my most worn sweaters. Is it right? So I wore it 66 times. Okay, let's see. I think it is last year. The only 2 items I was wearing is accessories. So yeah, this is my most worn item from the last year. And I believe I didn't have that many also. And this is slightly oversized. I really enjoy body shaping and more fitted clothes. And since this was, I think this is the loosest sweater I have. So this is the most similar to like sweatshirts for others. So I really enjoy wearing it. And I think this yarn wears it really nicely. It's way too scratchy for my boyfriend. For me, I think when I started, I was short sleeve t-shirts wearing underneath. So the first day or two I could feel a little bit, but with the body oils and etc. I could wear it, and now I don't feel it, that it is scratchy. So it holds up really nicely. It basically don't pill. Maybe few items, but it just holds its shape. It's just so nice, so fun to wear. So such a good sweater, and that is also one of my oldest sweaters. So it's really nice to see that I'm still wearing it. And I think, yes, fade top was another. Why I locked the screen? I will need to check. So another sweater, but I finished 2023. I remember because it was my almost Christmas, winter, December sweater. I was rushing through because I wanted to wear it on the Christmas sweater. It is Winter Waves sweater. This also, I forgot. I will try to list everything down below, patterns, yarns, whatever I have. And you can always find about my knits more information on my Ravelry page. The Winter Wave sweater by some creator. I don't remember. Of course, mine is slightly different because it's on slightly lesser gauge. But it only has 17 wears last year and 13 wears a year before. And I think it is because it is a bit precious, that it is white. It is not easiest to wear. I didn't at some point have enough white underwear or tops to wear underneath, so it just shows what is underneath. It's if I couldn't wear black dark ones. So it requires a bit more attention wearing. It was my precious. And it is so interesting because I think I knitted it with one strand of alpaca, I forgot what yarn, and one strand of mohair. And I see that under armpits, it starts felting. So it's also a bit more maybe delicate fiber. But at the same time, I'm just enjoying it. It doesn't matter if it will be not as long lasting as my Icelandic sweater. If I don't wear it that much, it still brings joy. It's still so much fun to wear. And I love that sweater too. What can I say? Okay, next item on my 2023 is Orianity. This was my improvisation when I was thinking, oh, maybe I should ever write my own pattern. And so this top became a top where I first time done all three edges, like I-cord edge, folded, and peacock edge, which is basically folded and peacock is the same, but I decided that peacock was a bit maybe too much for my taste. So it was actually first time figuring out this construction. So instead of the raglan, I was reconstructing it to increase around shoulder seams and for the sleeves, and then finish with raglan increases. I love that construction. I think similar ones existing, but this was how I was doing it. The biggest issue with this top is that it is slightly too short, and I think that was because I was thinking to knitting two tops, and I didn't have yarn because I bought enough yarn for two tops, but not two tops evenly made. And I always preferred to hide my shoulders because from the childhood my mom was always screaming that hide your shoulders from the sun, don't get burned, etc. So all my tops, even summer tops, has to have shoulder saving from the burn. So the neckline is quite nice, but it's slightly too short. So I still wear it, but I don't wear it as much. And I think it's stiff. It's merchandise cotton and merchandise and viscose, I think the shiny strand is. And I think merchandise cotton is that it's not growing. And I don't know, it doesn't have that much elasticity. So it still fits. It fits nicely on me, but it is slightly or not as comfortable to wear as it would be, and it's slightly too short, so I have to think about which bottoms I'm wearing it. So I only wore it 4 times, and mostly I'm wearing it on my vacation 4 times this year and 5 times last year. So it doesn't get that much wear, and I think since I still have the yarn, I think I should, my plan is for this year to at least prolong it, even if it wouldn't give me more like movement pleasure. I also was thinking maybe I should reknit these peacock edges, because I don't enjoy them that much anymore, or even from the first it was a bit too much. The stop is not that much, but it was a bit too much to me. I'm really basic girly at the same time. But yeah, I knitted and frogged. It was interesting to figure out that construction, and I thought that one day I will write a pattern for it, so I named it Oriana T. I think Oriana was like meaning maybe from Italian name, which means like sunrise or something like that. Never did it, but it is fun top. So another item from 2023, it's my Corset Feathers top. And did I sew the skirt the same year or not? Skirt. Okay, skirt. Circle Feathers. Yes, in 2023. So the skirt, I wore it last year 7 times. 1 year before it was 6 times. And the top, I wore it... I forgot it. Yeah, I need to group them better. Only once, and it is really explainable why. So maybe when I show you my stash, I still have some cool for the corset, some zip ties. So the corset, and the corset is the biggest issue. I made it a mock version, and then I made it the real version, and it looks so beautiful on me. It is. But my problem is that I didn't want my boobs to fall out, so I was trying to do like they goes in, the corset goes around the boobs and goes back in. And what I didn't thought about that much, that I made it to go in, since this self-drafted. Again, just deconstruct some pattern fabrics and then just cut strips and just try it out and see how it is. So I believe these shoulder cap, I think I have quite strong shoulders, so I again wanted to break them up with straps, and I think those straps would look quite nicely with this small detail that they are going wider a little bit, like pointing towards. I felt like it was quite nicely framing and I really nicely done. It was also like brain teaser how to make all this like flap on the back. Actually, you don't need a bra, but I think, oh, if I want it, you don't need a bra with this top. It is not as easy to tie the ties, and maybe I added them way too often, those holes, so I think now I attach them every second, because you don't need the holes that often. But yeah, the biggest problem is that around here, some of these boning pieces just poking me, and I cannot wear it because of it, but I cannot gift it away. And I think last year I wore it only once because it was our summer party, and they wanted some tropical outfit, and this is the most like tropical outfit I was thinking of, and it was quite cold, so before I had some sweaters and then just dress out the sweaters, because I don't have that many tropical things, and some of these, maybe this one, but I was getting tired of wearing this H&M dress everywhere. So yeah, I didn't have anything else more tropical, like palm leaf print. I don't have that much prints. My tops, all like t-shirts, are also similar style, plain colors. As I said, sewing I really liked it. But the skirt is so comfortable. It's fun to wear, and this is why I wear it a bit more. Of course, like a dress, when I put them in 2 pieces, it is even more beautiful. But even, I broke the zipper even. I didn't wear it that much time, but the zipper broke, but I still can use it, just the handle is not. And I think I lost the hook, the top one part. But it is fun. It was my first ever circle skirt. And with the sewing, I remember the biggest issue I always had was that I was expecting sewing to take quickly, like one evening, and the skirt took me a week, and I needed to redo it maybe 3 times and figured out how to do a zipper and a pocket at the same time, how that area works, because of course it has pockets. It's fun. It's, I think, full circle skirt. It's just really fun skirt to wear it. So a top, maybe I should just throw it out. Maybe I should just throw it out, because I cannot reuse these size of scraps and the boning. But I think I'm mostly keeping it up to compare and see what I need to change in the pattern, like a mock piece, so I could then make a next corset even nicer. I still have an idea, maybe make myself like Christmas, at least in Norway, they were like dressing up so nicely, like in fall costumes, suits, and full maybe dresses, maybe cocktail dresses, or how they call for their Christmas dinner parties. For every day, they don't dress up that nicely. They just regular clothes, even to go to the office. But for the Christmas time, they just have a bit more like fancy up. And I was thinking maybe make a similar size like corset top and fluffy like tulle dark green, maybe with sparkles. That would be really nice, maybe something like that, or I don't know, but it's still on my mind, and I think this is why I'm not throwing away that corset, just to see, maybe try it on again before fixing up those issues. But yeah, I just didn't want my corset just have open up for the boobs and then the boobs almost fall down, and just wanted to go secure, and I just go back way too quickly, I think, and then it just pokes me not nicely. So do not recommend to do that. And do I have any more didn't mention things from 2023? I think not. So we can move on with 2024. I show you a blue embroidered suit dress. And the next one is horse sweater. So the horse sweater is from my leftovers from the yarn. Of course, I needed to order a slightly bit more yarn. I think this was all, again, free pattern from that brand, the same brand of Melly. Or they have let Lopi yarn and etc. They sell it, so they maybe have three or four free patterns for free, and I knitted 2 of them. But I really love horses, so I just knitted them. I believe with the contrast colors, the first one was slightly better distributed, at least by my color selection, because I believe the second color had to be a bit more contrasting than the main color for it to be that nice. But at the same time, just focus on the horses. And I didn't do the bubbles because I think I ran out of the yarn and I didn't want to buy it because it's a bit more scratchy, so I couldn't use it for accessories like hats, because my head is really sensitive. My skin is not as sensitive, but my head here, everything itches it. Everything itches it. So I didn't want to have any more leftovers, and it was just enough to do this. And I think when I finished the last of that, was it wheat, barley, and chocolate colors? Or something like that. Now I'm starting to remembering because I'm mentioning them so many times. From the Let Loopy. So that barley color, the middle one, when it ran out, when I finished my round, it was maybe that much left. So I won't like yarn chicken with that color. I think I still have a little bit chocolate and a little bit of the main color. And this sweater, even if I think it was exactly the same size, but I think my tension was different. So I think it's almost, it has around 0 ease, and I really enjoy the look of it. But for the comfort, like just throw on a sweater, that one was a bit better, first lining sweater than the second. So I think this one, but I still switched up. So I wore it 24 times, so around less than half of another sweater. And I believe sometimes this is maybe even better with some clothes, but that was way more my comfort wear, and this was then more like fancy wear. even if they're basically the same sweater. And at the time, that was basically, yeah, my most winter sweaters. I didn't have that much more warmer, especially this dress, my wedding dress. I just finished it. So these were like my warmest sweaters, like white one and 2 Icelandic sweaters. So I didn't have a lot of sweaters in rotation. So I'm so happy that I will have this one, even if I think that I need a bit less warm sweaters more nowadays, especially after moving to Denmark. But it's still good to have it. So yeah, 24 times in 2025, 14 times wore in 2024. So increased number of wears for that sweater. But I believe I finished it in 2024, so I think I have only half of the year last year. Like, you understand me. Okay, moving forward. Next, my mohair, Oriana, the same construction I used for my pink top. I used this one. This is the yarn my aunt gave it to me, I don't know, 10-15 years ago, and it's still until now to be used, and it's really nice. I think really similar would be Kumala's blouses, I believe. Because it was one strand, but it was thicker mohair yarn. I think it was 80% mohair and 20% polyester. And I believe that yarn doesn't exist anymore. The only similar yarn I found was like reversed percentages. So this is fun to see. And in my style, it is a bit more fitted, with smaller sleeves. It's just really good. The only issue I have, since it is 20% polyester, that if I get hot in it and if I sweat in it, I really need to wash it really often. But I wore it, I believe, really a lot of times, because I believe I don't have anything else in this like semi-warm category, a bit colder, a bit lighter. So yes, 42 times. It's not my favorite, but it's really good. It looks good. It wears nicely. It's just a good sweater. Of course, I'm keeping it. Well, I need maybe more. When I finished that one, I wanted it all colors, like burgundy red, deep blue, maybe foresty dark green too. I wanted all colors, that sweater. Maybe I should make it. Or maybe it's slightly different ones, but yeah, that one was really fun to make, to wear. Really good to make. Then the next one is my woolen skirt. I wore it 16 times in the last year, and I think I liked it worn even more in Norway, but also here it has pockets. Again, I made it, and the zipper insertion is a bit better. Ooh, my window is wind is torturing my window. So yeah, so this is second circle skirt from the woolen ones. I really liked it in the winter time to layer with things and wear the skirt. It's just fun. It has slightly interest, but yet again, it's basically black one. It's fun. Ooh, it almost pattern matched the waistband. Not everywhere. Waistband and on the other side it's not that well matched. Well, you see and you learn. So this is the right side, I guess. It just, yeah, fun to wear, but only 16 times. I'm a bit disappointed actually by that. Not that I'm disappointed, but I expected a bit more. So I would say that I wear it. So yeah, circle fibers. So we checked it out. Yes. Ooh, it's so interesting. Okay, so this is our first accessory and one of the oldest accessories I made. So white fluffy headband. I made it from leftover yarns from that white sweater. So, okay, I didn't add anything except this one. So I think it's cute. And with mohair itchiness, it's so interesting. As I said, that sweater is the softest sweater ever, it looks like. But mohair itches me on a headband when it is a bit warmer. When it is colder, it's totally nice headband. If it is a bit getting warmish, this itches me slightly. And I wore it only 4 times last year and 8 times a year before. So apparently I don't wear headbands that much. I think this year I wore it more than 4 times already. So maybe it's also, you know, goes up and downs. I believe it's beautiful, it's classic. It doesn't take a lot of space. I'm keeping it. I don't have that many. I think that's also that I don't have that. Okay, I got as a gift. I don't have that many handmade, but I have other hats, and one headband and one hat was gifted when I left Norway by my colleagues with really Norwegian flags. So they say that I would really totally look in Denmark correctly with my winter wear. But basically, this was, you know, one of the only headbands I had for a few years, and I don't wear it that much. But it's fun, it's classic, I'm keeping it. And it was like stash busting project. I wanted to use up the yarn I had leftovers from my sweater. And moving forward, what else? So I think the only last item I finished in 2024 is this I called it my ice hat, because I bought this yarn because I believed it looked like my eye color. I don't know if you can see it or not. And this is the only hat I had, handmade hat, and I have one more which I didn't wear it. But yeah, this was my main hat I have, and I knitted a few months later, but in 2025, the scarf to match it. And this complex was my main outfit, outerwear. I don't know why it's just called accessories, if just like mandatory outerwear in the colder climates, because you don't put them because you look better like accessories. You put them because you need it as an outerwear, like shoes when you go outside, because otherwise you can get cold and you can get ear aches, throat aches, and etc., and you can die. So it is not an accessory, it's a needed item. But it is, so I categorize it as a small item. And I wore the hat 90 times, so just number 2nd place of the year board, and this was my number 1. So it was going from winter, because under the jacket just to have something around my neck, and towards maybe more summertime when you still need something to not get cold. So I wore it 115 times. This was the only scarf, probably, basically. Maybe a few days I wore other scarves, not handmade. Then basically the only complex. So they are number 1 and number 2, number 1 and number 2, 115 times. So it means that basically almost every 3rd day of the year I was wearing the scarf. This is impressive, and this shows that maybe I should knit myself another scarf. And then if I have a new scarf, maybe new hat matching. And actually I would like it to have a slightly thicker scarf, because it got longer. I think it get slightly less width. So yeah, this is Sophie scarf styled. I improvised it, and the hat was the most similar pattern is that tube hat. No, I forgot. Muscle burr hat, but just I improvised myself a tube hat, because you just increase until stitches you want, knit straight, and then decrease. And I used, instead of these 4-point increases, I made it more like rounded, I don't know, sunny version crown, because for me it looked more better. It looks crinkly because I washed it and put it for the next season already into the box. And I think this is still in the rotation, sometimes with that headband, sometimes with only, I have a headset, so again, using less the hats, because the headset also helps to keep my ears warm. But yeah, these were the main items. And I think these items also broke my statistics, because a year before I was thinking, oh, did I wear more knitted items or sewn items? And this time I just felt like, yeah, of course I wear more knitted items. If one item I wear it every 3rd day, and from my sewn objects, I don't know. What was the most worn soon item? I think that's the black skirt. Well, it was the black skirt. 16 times. And then the second place, I think it is my first dress for 10 times. 10 times, 16 times. So this was my most worn 16 times. And that one was 115 times. So of course I wear the way more knitted items. And now, this year, I finished a coat I sew, and now I'm just wearing that coat basically every day since I finished it. So I believe that next year it will be, again, those items who I wear so much, make me outerwear items. Maybe I shouldn't even include in my statistics, at least for other generated statistics, because it really stops me thinking, you know, what is in my wardrobe like really wearable over the time. Do I wear more sewn or knitted? I think, yeah, knitted items or sewn. What was last year a sewn object? We can check it later on. And let's continue. We still have few items from the last year I finished. So the first, I knitted a lot of tops last year, was Birthday Bonbon Tea by Peacock Yarns. This is from Peacock Yarns. It was test knit. It is quite fun. How many times I wore it? 14 times. Neither good, neither bad, I would say, because it's in a way impractical with these bonbons, these bubbles, because if you try to layer it out, they just shows under any jacket or whatever, they showed. And at the same time, it's like summer top, not full length. And sometimes I was not knowing, will I wear it or not? But I wore it 14 times. So apparently it's still used in my wardrobe. It's still nice. It is probably the most expensive item I ever created or made at a given point. I believe that was the most expensive because this is also my first hand-dyed yarn top, or the first hand-dyed yarn I ever knitted with. I bought another hand-dyed yarns, but I never knitted with them because they are all, again, my precious. And I feel like a little bit reluctant to start knitting with this, but since it was test knit, I know what yarn for the test knit, it was really quickly processed, so I didn't oh my precious, I cannot do anything. I still have a small amount of yarn left. I was thinking maybe I should do the longer sleeves, but I don't think that maybe I could do like these sleeves, but I think maybe I could do like, I think this really with the dark blue or maybe purpley yarn and add then some color work on the circle. I think once I was looking for some circle color work patterns, so they would not like form a huge flowers but small items, so it can be if you run out of the yarn you can just stop knitting color work. So I was thinking doing something like that. That could be fun, but they're not enough to have a full length sleeve. It's super soft. This is probably the only yarn my husband was like kitten, like trying to felt it. Just like doing like this when I was wearing it. This is the only knitted item I have which made him act like this. Now I think maybe it's not as did I wear and wash maybe as soft or nice, but it's still nice. It's still soft. I like to wear it. The next top I think I knitted and was this. This is Knitting Committee top by Lily Kate France. Lily Kate makes on the social media. It has really beautiful details, but yet again, it's slightly too short, and I actually ran out of the yarn too. And it was like 2 different dye lots already, and I don't want to buy a third one. So I was thinking maybe I should propose this top to my aunt, which is a really petite, and I brought it to Lithuania, but I then brought it back because I didn't weave in the ends, and I just don't even want to give to my aunt. And I didn't weave in this end or cut it because maybe I will frog it. So you know, every centimeter counts in recounting the yarn, how to say it. I think the gauge mine was a bit, my gauge maybe was, at first I was getting way too big gauge, so I then go down needle size, but I think then I maybe stretch my gauge swatch so it is a bit smaller, and I really enjoyed this gauge, but it became a bit too short, I think, after with wear and wash, because if it gets wider to fit me, it gets shorter. I think the hands do not have any stretch, and it's not as comfy, and it lacks length. So maybe I suggested it to my mom, and she tried it out, but she said that she likes her summer tops to be a bit deeper, have neckline, and it was a bit too short for her too. So maybe my aunt will want it. Otherwise, this is really beautiful. I really wanted it to be my one and only. I wear it only wear 3 times with all my, with the jackets, with the cardigans, and etc. But it didn't become what I was expecting. I have so many expectations for it, and it just became a bit of a flop. So most likely, either I need to fix it or it won't stay in my wardrobe. So the next item in my list, which I made it in the last year, okay, maybe it's not this one, but we will talk about this one. So this is Tonight Top, again by Lily Kate France, on a bigger gauge needles. It's really nice. I love it. I love it also to wear, but I only wore it 11 times, I think, last week. This was my main outfit. But I believe that now more I wear, it is from superwash yarn, and it doesn't wear as nicely as expected. Maybe I saw it like wrong side really getting bubbly, and maybe front is not as, it's not bad, but I feel like it won't hold shape and it won't be as wearable and durable as, I don't know, Icelandic sweater. I can see that it started to wear, and this is also, I believe, I knitted it short sleeve so I could make a matching cardigan. So I felt like it would be so fun and nice. And I also was knitting a cardigan, so I thought, these tops, will be matching with my cardigan. And the cardigan was biggest flop of the year, but I wore it, I think, this 4th place. So I wore this cardigan 60 times. And at the same time, I hate it. But this is the only cardigan. I only wore it once or twice at work, and I've decided it looks a bit frumpy. I don't enjoy wide sleeves. As I showed you, I usually like more fitted sleeves, and this one, was, I think I was reducing, but not that often, and then it got wider, okay, everyone enjoys, wide sleeves, let's see what the hype is about. They get everywhere, and I think a bit longer maybe than I needed. They get everywhere because it also grew, this sweater. It's just frumpy, and I was improvising. This is my idea cardigan. I think from Sanskrit it means the first, and I knitted fully twice. First time I knitted way too small, and then I reknitted yoke maybe 5 times. So this is cursed. I want to burn it, but I wore it 60 times because it was so comfy just to throw on the home when you don't care, that it will be wear and tear, and you just, throw something on. It just became a bit for the winter side. And yet another issue I understood that why it is cotton merino yarn 50-50 by Drops. So it is not cold enough for the winter, I feel like. It's a bit, chilly, it's a bit more breezy, but it's so dark, it's not fitting in the summertime. I think like everything about this cardigan, it could go wrong, it could go wrong, but I wore it 60 times. This is my 4th most worn item after the scarf, hat, and the sliding sweater. It's just because it's home sweater, and home items, it's so easy to wear. So I'm keeping it for now, but it is something I really want to update the only cardigan I knitted, and it is so terrible. The only 2 items I skipped for now are socks. Okay, so let's finish with knitted items and then move on to the socks. So one of the top I was wearing last year, and on the Easter week I gave it to, actually I was bringing it to my aunt, but it stuck on the, as they called it, on the, not a tax authority or how to call it. So my mom decided that that sweater was for her, not for my aunt. So sorry, aunt. That sweater didn't reach you. But it is a Winnie sweater by Lily Kate France. I don't know in which, maybe here. I will show the picture of me wearing it. So I wore it 6 times. Almost, I think, a week after I finished the sweater, I wore it every day. And I then understood that the sleeves were a bit too short, the body was too short, and it had a really nice detail on the side, which made it not as easy to prolong, to gather the stitches and, just do the sweater surgery. It had a beautiful lace edging, but that also meant that I really didn't want to unpick it. So I had one more ball of yarn, which I could have used to prolong it, but it was way easier to give it away. And I have a really long torso, and I believe when we stand it next to my mom, our legs are almost the same length, but I am maybe 7 centimeters taller than my mom, and all the height becomes from my body. So my body is quite long, and that sweater fit her really fine, so she really wanted, so I just left it because it's really beautiful. I really love it, and I'm knitting now a new one, but probably I will do the lace too, if I'm not that lazy. But it just was not my sweater. It was not meant to be. And maybe this was my curse of the test knitting for Lily Kate France, because I loved her pattern so much, especially those I applied to test knit for, and a few more maybe older ones I didn't have time for test knit or never saw the test knit because I was not on social media yet. So I really adore her as a designer. But both test knit items were flopping on me and becoming too small because I was so into making sure that I was on the gauge and a bit rushing because 6 weeks, was it in 6 weeks or 8 weeks, but while you're getting the yarn and etc, and then you need to take photos, so by the end of it you are not getting time anymore. So it's only 6 weeks. It's quite intense schedule, and I was knitting both of them on quite small millimeter gauge, though they're beautiful items. It was maybe rushed and not so responsible. And the last top knitted item is my wedding dress. So my wedding dress, I wore it 5 times in the last year. So first time, of course, I wore it on my wedding day. It was so cozy. I have a video how I knitted this dress, and I still could, but coat was not ready for the wedding. But I made myself a wedding dress, and then I wore it every day around the Christmas time, since our wedding was not like a wedding party. It was not totally secret, but we didn't tell anyone because we thought that everyone will want to come. And in the Christmas time, it is really terrible idea to plan a wedding party. So we just didn't tell anyone except our witnesses. So then when we went to say everyone, hey, we got married, I was wearing this dress. So this was also my more times to wear it, and I wore it a few times in the office. And I was thinking to wear it a bit more into the office, this dress, because it's just a nice wintry dress, not too weddingy or whatever. But then my colleague asked me if I was going to the party after work, because my dress was a bit, looked for her a bit more maybe fancy, and then I just, no. And I stopped wearing it to the office. So maybe next year it will be my Christmas, New Year party dress when I need a warm. So this is really fun. I knew that this dress will get longer by the weight, but I didn't expect it that much. So maybe at once I would want to remove few rows of hair, because when I was knitting it just felt like it's always, it needed to go at least under the bust. And then it grows so much, so I believe this waistband is not on the waist that much anymore, but slightly, proportionally slightly too low. But it's just nice. And I knitted this on really huge millimeter needles, otherwise I wouldn't be able to do it. I knitted in 6 weeks. That was quite stressful. And but it was doable because how large gauge was. So I was knitting with 2 strands of, I think, Drops Flora and 1 strand of Drops Brushed Alpaca Silk. And yeah, this is really nice and best memory. And one of my friends said if I don't want, I want to wear it more, but I don't want to wear a white dress, I can just dye it. But the last time I tried to dye something, it didn't turn out that well, so I don't know. I don't know what I will do. So for now, it's still white, it's still nice. If I will get tired, maybe I will dye it. So quickly, let's go through the statistics. Maybe we'll give you a white background for the statistics. So items in my wardrobe by craft type. So this is quite, I think it's more echoey, so maybe I will open it. So at least reduce the echoiness. So items in my wardrobe by craft time. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm more a knitter than a sewist, even if the sewn items are quicker to make, but they're usually not that quick too. So at this moment in my wardrobe is 65% of the knit items, or do I have? Nope. Cannot see how many items. Of course, it didn't count at me, only percentages. And 36% of the sewn items. So I think it's fair. I'm way more of a knitter. I enjoy knitting more. It just, you watch TV, you relax, and then the knitting items appears. And the sew items, I feel like it is a bit more stressed, more rushed. Like this mock top I made, I almost cried when I needed to make this shirt thing, and the video it was only video instructions, my first time ever making a shirt, and it was not that clear to me. Oh, and this top is by Just Developer. She has a YouTube, I think, channel, she has a website, and she generates patterns. So you can upload your own measurements, but you have to take a lot of measurements, or you can select one of the sizes. And since it was basically impossible to measure myself, I just selected one of the sizes, and yeah, it generated. She's, I think, developer, like her profession is developer coding. So she made it, by math to do it, calculated everything. So that's really impressive. She doesn't have a lot of followers, so I think that's quite sad because she's doing it for free. But she's quite a genius person, in my opinion, and she's still doing it. That's quite impressive. Okay, items in my wardrobe by category. So I have 5 dresses, 1 in knitted, 4 sewn. I have 5 sweaters, of course, all knitted. I have 6 tops, I think 1 sewn, 5 knitted. I have 2 skirts, both sewn. I have 3 bottoms, which are basically the flops, all of them, but they're still useful, and all sewn items. I have 3 small items, which are all knitted, and my most worn category. And I have, socks. Did I show you socks? If I forgot to show you. So I have 3 pairs of socks, 1 gifted and 2 I will show, and 1 cardigan. So I'm sorry, but going to... Okay, this is also not good. I have only 1 pair of sock of 2, because purple socks, I believe I only wore once, and then I knitted from leftover yarn. My friend's baby a gift knit, so I gave the socks to my friend too, so she can match with her baby. So I don't have those purple socks, and I marked that one day I wore it, and it could be the day I took the pictures of them. And one of the biggest and proudest moments are these Harry Potter socks, Marauder's Map socks. I solemnly swear that I am up to no good, or should I maybe hold like this? And then on the legs, I have Mischief Managed. So these were like my precious socks. And as you hear, the precious means probably don't wear it. but I wore it 3 times, and I think they were worn mostly on our trip to Canada last summer. It was such an amazing trip, and when we were sleeping in the tents, I was wearing these socks, not be cold. So yeah, I love these socks, but they are precious. They didn't wear it. So I think the most wear in the sock category was from that gifted pair of socks. And now I'm trying to introduce new pairs of socks this year. But I'm gifting way more socks than I am making, apparently. Yeah, that reminded me. So yeah, most items, it is so interesting that it was quite even distribution of items made in 2023, maybe for the background. And so most of my items were created evenly in 3 years. I think it's almost 1/3, and then a small amount of made in 2022. So it's quite evenly distributed what I still having in my wardrobe from 2023, 24 and 25. I think 24 I had. Nope. I cannot check percentages. Sorry. Google Docs on the tablet are not also the best, but they're quite evenly distributed, I would say, except for the first year. I have almost nothing. Then colors. The colors, I would say, it's so interesting because this year I brought way more colors. And by color wheel, you will notice what I would consider beautiful representations. So for the green category, so I introduced this year 3 green items, and neither look the color I chose for the green, because they were like more my eyes, muted, teal leaning colors, but their main color family, I will say green. So the green I show in the color wheel is the green that I would want to knit probably more. And purple, those socks which are not anymore in my wardrobe, red, it will be increasing. And I don't know which category got red, maybe this one was categorized as red, because I don't have multicolor, or at least I didn't made a category for it. But yeah, it is interesting because this year I feel like I got more colors than I believe last year. It was mostly like basic colors like blue, that pink, white, beige, brown. And what is interesting is the pink color. Pink is one of my least favorite colors, especially Barbie pink, like being bright pink. But I still have a lot of items because some of pinks I love, like this pink. And one of the tops I made. I prefer a bit more like red tones, I would say, to wear than pinks, but I think also pink suits me. And the second my least favorite color actually is green, but yet again I really hate neon green, and all these foresty dark rich greens I'm really feeling like passionate towards. So I believe they will be appearing more in my wardrobe in the future. I always loved blue, I always loved red, and I actually really like yellow, but with yellow just maybe a bit difficult to find out. And I believe beige, I don't know if it likes that much me. I believe that my sliding cardigan also really looks good because of the color work and that dark brown, I think, which makes it look nice on me, in my opinion, my eyes. Then the next graph I have if times worn by type. So which kind of items I wear the most. So of course there's small items category. Almost 38% of the times if I wear a handmade item, it was that, because I basically in the wintertime I was living in it. And as I said, this next year it will be grow a lot of this pie will be eaten by like outerwear, like coats, because I made for now 1 coat, and I'm believing to torture myself again and make myself another coat. So then basically I guess it will be all other items will be really smushed together. Then of course, since I wear the most knitted items, I'm wearing the most sweaters. And then of course the cardigan got 10%, and you know which times I've worn, like 10% of all items I made was that black cardigan I hate. And it's still keeping up. And I think the dresses were like the most fun to wear, but I only wore it 4% of this. And as we talked, bottoms, less than 1% of all wears was my bottoms because I don't wear them. And skirt is not a bottom, so it is 4%. Then, of course, times worn by crafting time. As I said, knit is just 92% of the time I wore it. I wore from my handmade wardrobe. I wore knitted items, and other 8% of the times I was wearing my sewn objects. It's okay, this is really a huge change from the last year because I knitted those small items which I wore it many times, and it will be changing in the next year too because now I'm including coat, which I'm wearing almost every single day, so it will be competing, but I can wear more knits, I guess, with the coat, like hat and scarf. So I guess knits will still win the fight, but it will be changing, and I guess this category made me understand that actually I don't care that much about statistics, or I should start taking off the small items and outerwear to see like more difficult to wear items. Do I wear them or not? And more selections, but also more to adapt to the weather. And it is also interesting that times worn by finished year, and of course 2025 wins, because the scarf was made in 2025 by 60% of the items were recently made. Because of that mini scarf I made, the hat was in 2024 made, that the cardigan also made less in top 4 categories was also made in 2024. It's not surprising that 2022 have only 1% of the wears from by finished year, because I have almost no items left. But it also shows that I created items last year which I really love to wear, because they were finished and worn at the same year. So that is quite also impressive, and I believe it shows not that I don't wear my older items, but that I am creating what I want to wear and need to wear. So I don't feel like it is bad. And I said these numbers were quite inflated by a few items. So yeah, that's it of my statistical video of what I was wearing in 2025 from my handmade wardrobe and what is in my handmade wardrobe still. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!